Hi, my name is Michael Rees. I'm a program manager in the SQL Server Engine team, and for SQL Server codename Denali, I have been focusing on the beyond relational scenario. Beyond relational means that we are going to support more than just tabular rectangular data inside the database, and we are also providing support for unstructured data, semi-structured data, XML documents, spatial data, and also provide services over both structured and unstructured data that is non-relational, such as, for example, the ability to search or provide reliable messaging inside the database using SQL Server Service Broker. Now, in the Denali time frame, we have been focusing primarily on investing in the areas of unstructured data management and spatial data management. In particular, in the unstructured data management, we have been adding a new type of table called file table that gives us the ability to store documents directly inside the database as if it is exposed through the Windows file system. So that means that this file table actually gets exposed as a Windows SMB share folder that allows you to drag and drop files directly into the database and use your favorite Win32 applications such as Word or Photoshop to directly edit the documents inside the database. In addition, you also get all the benefits of your SQL Server capabilities, such as integrated backup restore. You have the ability to do queries over the data, define triggers on that file table so that you have, for example, additional constraints on what people can do. You can do search over the documents that you store in there, etc. On the unstructured data processing side, we also have increased our effort to give you interesting search capabilities. So we have added the ability to not only search over the full document, but now you can index properties of the document and just search within those properties. Another thing is we have made your near queries more customizable, so you can specify what is the distance of nearness that you're interested in and whether order is important. And finally, probably the most exciting new addition in the area of search is the ability to now analyze the documents based on their semantic key phrases and then be able to do comparisons where you say, given this document, find me all the documents that are related to this document based on content. And the really cool thing about that is that you can do that without actually having to know what is in the document. So you don't have to be a domain expert, you don't have to create ontologies to be able to do that. We will analyze the document for you, identify key phrases, and then do the similarity search based on those key phrases. We also have invested quite a bit of effort to improve the scalability and performance of full text search. So previously, for example, when you added additional processors to your environment, full text search was actually still giving you the same scaling or throughput as if you were running on a single processor architecture. And now we are basically scaling with the number of resources that you're giving to the database. Our ultimate goal was, and I think we achieved that in most cases, to support at least 100 million large documents and up to about 350 million small documents with our scaling and our performance improvements. Now on the spatial side, we have basically taken our spatial investment in SQL Server 2008 and have extended it for Denali. The extensions that we have done is that we have provided parity in terms of functionality between the geometry and geography type. We have added new spatial objects, in particular circular arc and full globe on the globe type called geography, which gives us the ability to represent objects that span more than one hemisphere. Think about, for example, all the oceans connected in a single object. Now, other things that we have done on the spatial side also is that we have improved the performance of our spatial operations. And we have done that both in terms of improving the CLR performance of the spatial operations themselves. Buffer, for example, uses less memory. Point queries are now more efficiently processed in the CLR context as well. But we also have improved our spatial index handling. Two aspects that I would like to point out among all the things that we have changed is that there's a new default index mechanism that gives you better predictability of the performance of index operations on your spatial data, which means that in the context of doing a default index, now you have probably a better average response time for your queries than if you used the old default index. You still have the old indexes available if you really want to do like fine-tuning of your index structures to get out the really best performance that you might want to achieve. The other aspects that we did around indexing is that now the nearest neighbor queries, meaning find me all the hotels, find me the top 5 hotels or top 5 restaurants from the location where I'm at. These type of queries now also have been improved and now can be making use of the spatial indices that we have available. So that gives you a much better performance. The default query time for many of these spatial neighbor queries, if you're using the standard query example, often took minutes. Now it takes seconds and sub-seconds, and it's still faster than the recommended workaround that we have been providing. Another thing, last but not least, you can now also compress the spatial indices so that you get corresponding space savings as well. Finally, before I recommend you to download CTP3, one thing that we also have done is we have done some small investments in the context of reliable messaging service broker. So for example, now you have the ability to look at the queue and see when messages have been put into the queue, and we provide you with the ability to broadcast the message to multiple different recipients in a more efficient way than if you send the messages yourself to them. And so I thanks for your attention, and I would really encourage you to go to www.microsoft.com/Denali and download SQL Server Denali's CTP3 technology preview. Thank you very much.